Hi there. This is the summer turtle painting demo. So if you're watching this, you would have received the summer turtle painting kit, which includes this cute little guy here. They come in different colors, so yours might look different. You've got an 8x10 canvas like this with the outline. You've got your paints, you've got an apron, a throwaway apron, you have your palette, and you have access to this video. And if not, then you are lucky and you were just given access. But anyway, this is how you paint the turtle. So it's going to look like this, super cute and not difficult. So hang on, it's going to be a ride. So we're going to start with the orange. You've got your large brush and you're going to go around your turtle as much as possible. If you go over the lines, it is not a problem. You can still see the black, you see, through the painting, through the paint. But it just helps to not have the orange behind if you can. So you're laying your paintbrush flat like this on the canvas. So all the bristles are touching all at once. And you can even do like a sweeping motion in larger areas, but because we are going around the turtle, you're not really able to do that too much. But you see, you do want to cover it up as much as possible. You can even drag it. So you've got all the bristles down and you drag it and you drag it. And that allows you to do quite a thin line. You'd be surprised because it's a wide brush. It's a 1-inch brush. But if you just don't go on the top like this, sort of lay it at a 45-degree angle and then come down. But with the lines on it, it really makes life a lot easier. So we're just going to get this orange down. It's a vibrant yellow orange. It's called Pure Pumpkin. And it's a great color, really great color. So your paints obviously won't be laid out on the canvas or on the palette yet. You're going to do that. You can dump them out. You can keep them in a little container if you can get your brush in it, but your large brush, you won't be able to. When we get to the smaller brushes, you can. But there's your orange down. And what you're going to do is you're going to now wash it. So you'll want a piece of paper towel handy, and you're got some water, a water source, and you're pushing down, and you can scrape on the edge of the cup, but you're pushing down, hoping you can see that in the camera. You're pushing it down and scraping on the edge and just doing that. And that's pretty good. Then you're going to go into the next color. Now, you can use a big brush for this if you want, but I think for the sake of simplicity, we're going to go into using the smaller brush. Now this green is called tropical green. Again, you can go over the edges a little bit. It's not going to hurt because that shell is going to be painted a dark green anyway. We'll probably need a second coat of this green because it's pretty translucent, which means you can see through it. And there's a lot of colorant. It ends up being a little thinner. And so that's that color. And we're going to go in right into the center here. And we're going to go over it. I'm going to go right over. There's that sweeping motion. You see you're going back and forth, just like a broom, as though you're sweeping a broom. You can go into the corners by laying your bristles down and pulling out. just smooth out any brush strokes that you see there. Then we're going to go into the dark green, and we're going to do this area in here. Again, you can go completely over it. Now, if you wanted to do something different, you could trace the waves like this. You could do it with this color over here. And then you could do a different color if you wanted to on the outside, whether it's maybe it's the red, maybe it's the turquoise, maybe it's the light green again. But for the sake of this tutorial, I am going to just do the dark green around the edges like that. And as you can see in this example, the dark green is there, and then I go over the black lines with white. Sorry, just wanted to make sure my ringer was off. This last minute panic moment. It's like, oh, is someone going to be texting me in the middle of this? And then we can add a little bit of this in here, mix the two together. And this adds some interest to it too, some shading, some depth. It's flat with one color, comes alive with two or three or more when you're blending together. So you can have some fun with that. Good. And we're going to clean off our brush for a moment. Give that a little bit of time to dry. The background now is dry, and as long as you've covered it well, let's see, there's a couple of spots where I splattered my green from over here to over here because I'm trying to rush a little here. And then you can do the dots. Do you see how the dots are? We do the dots by either turning this little brush over. Whoops, we're going into the red. So we do small dots like this. Or we can do some bigger dots by using our big brush bottom, like this. And again, the variety is kind of nice. Anywhere you want them. And if you wanted to do a different color behind or several colors behind, it's your prerogative. You are the artist. Okay. Get that spot there. And I'm going to wash my brush again, get more of that orange off, and I'm going back into the green. You can use a hair dryer if you're trying to move quickly like I am. I'm going to use my heat gun. And I'm going to do another little layer of the light green on the head and the little feet. Okay, it's looking better. Now, we're going to mix the turquoise with some white. So whenever you're grabbing another color from your palette, you don't want to go right into the middle of it and grab it. You'd like to pull it from the side so that all of your white isn't tainted with the other color. And you can mix together like this. It doesn't have to be a solid, beautiful mixture, but we want some of that light turquoise to fill our little hibiscus petals. This little brush is really great. So you would get this in your kit. And it is a flat brush, just like your big one. So you can use it like sweeping, or you can turn it on its edge to get into some little corners. So if you just go around, you lay it on its edge, you're going to move your wrist. You're not going to paint in the same direction always. You can even move your canvas. No one says you have to keep it flat or that you have to keep it upright or facing, how would I say that? Facing you. You could turn it upside down if you'd like to. And we will do that sometimes in my classes. But there's your the inside of your flowers. So the other little brush you're going to be getting is what's called a liner brush. So it's tiny. It comes to a nice point. I'll stick that in the water for a moment just to loosen it up. It's a brand new brush. And we're going to grab the turquoise now, and we're going to go around the outside. Around the outside. And that just accentuates those petals. And you see how I'm steadying my hand with my other hand? Something to lean on. You could lean on your canvas if you don't have anything wet on it. And the other thing is I'm not pushing the paintbrush down. I'm using the very tips of them. And when I go into my color, I'm twisting my paintbrush to get that, keep the point on my paintbrush. So I'm twisting it to get that point and then applying it lightly. I'm not pushing it down because I want to keep it to be a fairly thin line. Cutie patootie. Really adorable. Okay, so I'm going to add, just for fun, I want to add a little bit of this lighter color here, just to get some highlight in there. We are going to add some white as well, highlights to each of our elements here. So we're going to pick up some white and we're going to go around the head like this, and on the top side of the legs, top side. It's just an oval, it's just following that line. So that adds highlights there. And then we're going to add a bit of highlight wherever you want to on your hibiscus. It can be quite random. It really just makes it stand out more. Isn't that great? And then, if we're going to be so brave, we're going to take our liner brush again, and we're simply following that black line. And again, I'm steadying my hand with my other hand. I'm letting it rest on it. If I was to just do this, I could, but I'd have to have a very steady hand, which mine isn't bad. But again, it's a light touch. I'm trying not to push too hard because I want a thin line. The harder I push, the thicker that line is going to be. Oops, I dipped in the red by accident. To show you again how I can turn my canvas now that I'm getting to the other side. I can even do this, right? Sometimes you don't want to breathe when you're doing something like that. But that's our guy. Look at him. If I want to, I can add black lines to it or put them back in. There are some black lines coming through because I didn't paint over them completely. This one I didn't do that at all to it. So it's nice, it's subtle, beautiful. If I wanted to, again, I would take my liner. I could take a Sharpie as well, and I can go around each area of the turtle with my liner brush. In this case, I'm really just, you see, I'm not really moving my hand. I'm just rotating, moving my fingers. Now I can rest on the table for a minute. There's some white spots that I didn't quite get, so I can push a little harder. Do you see that? I pushed harder and I got a wider line. More dramatic, right? Much more dramatic. Love it, love it. Both are nice though, right? Boom, 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 boom. Very cool. Now, the sides of this, I decided to have some fun. Not my idea. I stole it from Heidi. But what I can do is you take the orange and you go to the edges. Now, it's still wet, so you want to be careful. But you can just, again, laying your brush flat. Just do 4 of these. It's just the width of your brush. Take the end of it and it could be green or blue. Nice, eh? So that can also be done. And that is your turtle. Enjoy and look for other kits. I have the black light landscape. Comes with a little black light flashlight that you could crawl into a closet and look at your painting afterwards with it. It does light up because it has neon paint. And then the Fab Flamingo is also available right now, and you get this funky, fabulous keychain with it as well. Have a great day.